Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to be joined in a fantastic setting here at St James's Park in the northeast by Mr. Hughie Fury. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Just looking at this lovely scenery at the minute and ready to go.
Yeah, big night on Saturday night for yourself and a massive card up here in Newcastle. I know sometimes doing pictures and some of the press stuff can be a little bit aggravating. I know you'll have your mind on the fight, but it must give you a little bit of that fight week buzz, which is nice.
Yeah, of course you get the buzz and that. You just want to jump in the ring now and fight. Want it to be tonight if it was possible, but you got a couple more days to wait, and I'm looking forward to it.
And a really good fight for yourself as well. Christian Hammer been in with some really good guys, got some good wins under his belt, known on the world circuit. This is no walkover.
No, it's no walkover. He's here to fight, and these are the type of fights I want, and I'm looking forward to this fight.
I saw Peter say in the press conference that it's kind of this stage of your career where you can't really be taking fights, you say the word walkover, you can't be taking fights where you know you're a real level above someone on one-sided fights, because this is the stage of your career really where it's about fighting the right guys and making those statements.
100%. You've got to get the right fights behind you. If you go in there just fighting knockovers, you're not going to learn anything. The plan is to get fighters that's coming forward to fight, and I'm looking forward to this fight.
I did hear Adam Smith say in the week that he sort of compared the early stage of your career to Michael Gomez. I feel like we're in sort of the prime Hughie Fury stage now. Because of the fights you took early in your career that would be considered more winnable fights for you now, how do you sort of look back on that period? Because it feels like ages ago that you fought for that first world title, but now this is like the prime of Hughie Fury. So how do you sort of look back on that sort of earlier stage of your career? Because you fought at such a high level so early on.
I just look back, it was a man against a boy, simple as. And now it's a different story altogether, and people's ready to see that.
And what do you want from this next chapter? Obviously, the belts are tied up. There's so many good fights out there, but have you got sort of a plan in your head, or can you only take it fight by fight when there's a division like this?
Just got to take it fight by fight, but the main goal in the end is to get them world titles, so that's the main goal.
And you think you can do that under Sky and Box as well? They seem to be sort of pushing the Hughie Fury narrative, which is only a positive for yourself.
100%. This year, I believe now, is the biggest platform in boxing, Sky and Boxer, and I believe now with the right team behind me, I'll get to the top.
And I mentioned how the belts can be tied up and people are sort of throwing names into the hat and saying this could be next and this could be next. We never really know what's next at times unless there's a rematch clause, which there always seems to be nowadays. But I don't know, how far do you think you are off a world title? Because the names being chucked about at the moment, I don't hear much of Hughie Fury. It almost feels like you'd have to wait a couple of years.
It's only a couple of fights away, and you're right in the mix again. So it's just getting the right fights, and when them titles pop up, that's it.
Well, it doesn't look like they're going to be fragmented anytime soon, but I do want to talk about the two heavyweight fights quickly and just your take, obviously, on what they've done for the division. We had Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usic. Just tell me about beforehand how you thought that would play out in comparison to how it did you.
I thought it was going to be a 50-50 fight. But just from that round one, I knew Usyk is awkward and he can punch, and that's where they underestimated him. And as soon as from round one he had it in the bag, he just literally outboxed him. Joshua couldn't use his strength on him. So fair play to Usyk. He done what he had to do and he won the fight.
So you could see that from obviously the heavyweight perspective and the boxing brain you've got. You could see from round one that it was going to be that sort of fight. Yeah,
100%, because Joshua stood off and tried to box a boxer, and that's what that was the outcome of it.
And in terms of jumping straight back into a rematch, he done it with Ruiz. Do you think that's a sensible thing to do after a defeat like that?
Yeah, 100%. Where else are you going to go? You got to try and redense and put everything into it now. Go back to the drawing board and think where have you done wrong and try and get revenge.
And in terms of the trilogy between Tyson and Deontay, just in terms of what it's done for the division and the sport of boxing as well, 3 fantastic fights and a dramatic end to the trilogy. What do you think that's done for the division?
Listen, it's tremendous. Tyson done what he's done. I don't think Deontay Wilder wouldn't have a prayer to beat Tyson. Tyson had his number. Whatever shape he comes in, whatever he wants to do, Tyson's got his number.
And next for Tyson Fury, potentially, I know people are chucking Dillian Whyte's name in the hat. Do you wait for the undisputed? He's number 1 in the division at the moment, but is he almost in sort of a situation where there could be so many possibilities thrown up in the air?
He's just got to take whatever fights he is willing to take.
And in terms of yourself being thrown into that mix, is it Christian Hammer, maybe perhaps one more before the end of the year, and then we're looking at pretty much the biggest 2022 for yourself?
Yep, Yeah, 100%. These are the one I want the big fights. Get Hammer out the way, and on to the next.
Right, thanks for your time, Hughie. Look forward to seeing you and Christian. Really good fight, and yeah, cheers, mate.
Thank you very much. God bless.
Go!